STATT, folks. This is our third episode. I'm Tyler Gross. This is my partner, Colin Welsh. We're going to break down our picks for this weekend's games. We're going to start in college football with Michigan visiting Notre Dame. Colin?
I like what Notre Dame did last year against last week against Michigan State, but I like Michigan in this one because Denard Robinson, he's not the best passer, but he has improved a little bit. He has had a total of 440 yards last year against Notre Dame, 5 touchdowns. I think he'll do that again this year, and I think Michigan will win this one at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Fighting Irish in this game. They've certainly had their doubts about Brian Kelly over the past couple of seasons. But I like he's finally getting his recruits in there. Everett Golson, the freshman quarterback, he's been pretty great so far. They're a top 10 team defensively. I think they're able to slow down this Denard Robinson-led offense for Michigan, and I think they get the win. Let's go with the big ACC matchup, Clemson visiting Florida State, Colin.
I like Florida State at home, the college game day game of the week, prime time under the lights. E.J. Manuel has matured a lot. Their defense is looking really good. They've only allowed 3 total points this year. I mean, it's been against 3 mediocre teams, but that's still pretty impressive. I think Taj Boyd will struggle against this defense, and I think Florida State will win this one at home.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest game of the season for Florida State looking at their schedule. I think they're able to get the job done. I think they get a huge win on Saturday night. I just think the Seminoles are going to use this opportunity to make a big statement to the college football world. Let's go to K-State visiting Oklahoma.
This one was tough for me because I'm not big on Landry Jones, but I think Oklahoma will win this one. I know K-State has improved since last year, but I don't think they've improved by 40 points. So I think Oklahoma wins this one at home in Norman.
Yeah, I'm going to pick K-State in this game. I think it's obviously a matchup of 2 top 20 rushing attacks, but I've been impressed by K-State. They had that 52-13 win over Miami. Yeah, Miami's kind of down, but it's still the Canes. It's 2 really good rushing offenses, but I think when it comes down to those clutch moments in the final minutes, I like Colin Klein a lot more than I like Landry Jones. So I'm going to go with K-State with the big road win. Let's go to our NFL picks, Eagles at Cardinals.
I like Philly in this one. I like Michael Vick to go into Arizona. Kevin Cobb, facing his old team. I think he'll struggle a little bit against Philly's defense. I think LaShawn McCoy will have some success on the ground. Michael Vick, knowing him, he's probably going to turn the ball over, but once again, they'll probably overcome it, and they'll be one of the first 3-0 teams.
Yep. I'm a little bit higher on the Eagles than most people are. I had them at number 5 in my power rankings, as you guys saw yesterday. They're 2-0 despite Michael Vick's struggles with the turnovers offensively. I think the Eagles go to the West Coast at Phoenix and they get a big win. Let's go now to the Falcons at Chargers, Colin.
Here's another matchup between 2 undefeated teams. I mean, there's only 6 of them left so far, but I think the Falcons will win this one and remain undefeated. The Chargers, they've rolled their first 2 games, but they've faced 2 pretty unimpressive opponents. I think Matt Ryan's no-huddle offense, the fast-paced offense will be too much for the Chargers, and I think the Falcons will remain undefeated and the Chargers will get their first loss.
Yep, I mean, both teams have played pretty well to this point, but I think the Falcons are able to go out west and they get the W. They made a very impressive performance out of that Monday Night Football game. I like the Falcons in this game. I'm going to take them. Let's go to the Texans at Broncos, Colin.
This one was tough for me to pick. The Texans have looked really impressive this year, but I like Peyton Manning at home. I think he'll overcome that three interception game he had last week. The Broncos have pretty good home field advantage. Their run game, if they can get the run game started early with Wilson McGahee on the ground, they have a really solid defense, especially on the ground. I think they'll win this one at home.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning had an awful start in that last game. He had 3 picks in the first 9 minutes. I think it's because Mike Nolan and that Falcons defense was able to confuse him and disguise their coverage and disguise their blitzes. I like Wade Phillips with the Texans to do the same thing this week with that defense. I think they're going to disguise them, and I like their rushing attack a lot on offense too. Arian Foster, he's obviously the best running back in the NFL right now, and the backup Ben Tate, he scored twice last week. I'm going to take the Texans in this one. Let's go to the Patriots at Ravens.
So one of these preseason Super Bowl contenders is going to go 1-2 after this game, and I think it's going to be the Patriots. The Ravens, they lost a tough one last week, but I think they'll bounce back strong. Wes Welker and Tom Brady aren't on the same page right now. Aaron Hernandez is out. So I think the Ravens will win this one at home.
We both know that both teams are coming off tough losses last week. They're both going to come back very strong. I think they both bounce back. But I like the Ravens' defense in these clutch third and fourth quarter situations to get that Patriots offense off the field, and I think Joe Cool gets it done. I like the Ravens to win this ball game. Let's go to the Packers at Seahawks, Colin.
So the 12th man was rocking last week against the Cowboys, but I think Green Bay will go in there, quiet him down a little bit. Aaron Rodgers will have some success through the air. The Seahawks, their passing defense isn't as stout as their run defense is, so I think Aaron Rodgers will go in there and win this game.
I love everything the Seahawks are doing so far to this point. I mean, it's a great story up there. They got the Russell Wilson. He was too short to play in the NFL. Now he's the starter, and he's looked pretty good so far. But I think Dom Capers in this Green Bay defense, they got to Jay Cutler last week. I think they forced some turnovers from Russell Wilson this week. I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers roll this week, and they look good doing it. Let's go to the Giants at Panthers Thursday Night Football tomorrow night.
So the Panthers offense looked a lot better than it did against the Buccaneers week 1 than against the Saints in week 2. So I think the Panthers will win this one against the Giants. The Giants are struggling on defense. Ahmad Bradshaw probably isn't going to play tomorrow. Hakeem Nicks is a no-go for tomorrow. So I think Cam Newton will have this offense rolling against this Giants defense, and D'Angelo Williams will have some more success on the ground like he did last week.
Yeah, I picked against the Carolina Panthers last week and got burned. I took the Saints. It didn't turn out as well as I hoped. I'm going to take Cam Newton in this balanced attack to beat the defending champion Super Bowl Giants. There's just too many injuries on offense for this Giants squad. I don't think they can keep up with the amount of points that this Panthers offense can put up. So let's move now to the Buccaneers at Cowboys in Jerry World.
So I like what the Bucs did last week against the Giants. Even though they lost, it was a hard-fought game. They lost at the end. And I think the Buccaneers will win this one against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a middle-of-the-road run defense. Doug Martin looks pretty good so far. I think if Josh Freeman and Dallas Clark and Vincent Jackson can get clicking early in the game, I think that they'll pull this one out against the Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys in this one. All the signs are there. The Bucs are last in the league against the pass. They give up over 400 yards passing a game, and the Cowboys are 6th in the NFL in passing offense. It's a total mismatch. I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. I think they get back on track after that loss in Seattle last week. We're going to move now to our newest portion of the show. It's called 3 and Out. We're going to close out the show with our 3 and Out. I'm going to start with Clemson's offense facing Florida State's defense. It's an interesting matchup that I'm really looking forward to see. I mean, Florida State's defense can make a huge statement because this Clemson offense was crazy explosive last year. I mean, Sammy Watkins, Andre Ellington, there's points all over the place. That's one to watch. I also want to see Oklahoma's defense trying to slow down Colin Klein and K-State. The Wildcat fans call him Optimus Klein. I want to see how that matchup turns out this week. And then my last 3rd and out point will be Phillip Rivers. He had a lot of trouble last year. He had over 20 interceptions. He turned the ball over an awful lot, and he looked like a gunslinger last year, almost like Brett Favre. This Falcons defense picked off Peyton Manning, one of the all-time greats, 3 times in 1 quarter last week. I'm interested to see how Phillip Rivers does, if he's still that same gunslinger we saw last year, or if he's changed at all.
So my 3 here are Jamal Charles has only 90 yards this season, but they're facing the Saints. The Saints have the 32nd ranked rush defense. I think Jamal Charles has his breakout game for the season. I think we'll have some success on the ground, maybe even pull out a win for the 0-2 Chiefs. But my second one is Cam Newton. Cam Newton in that Carolina offense needs to get rolling early, and if they do, then they'll be able to be too much to handle for this Giants defense, who only has 4 sacks this year, which is unusual for them. And D'Angelo Williams to have another successful game on the ground. And my 3rd and final one is, like you said, but mine's on the other side of the field for the Chargers. The Falcons and the Chargers go head-to-head, undefeated teams. But I think Matt Ryan shows just how good this Chargers defense really is. They face two easy opponents, so I think Matt Ryan will pick this defense apart, and we'll finally get to see if the Chargers are pretenders or contenders this season. So we'll see this weekend.
All right, well, thanks for watching this week, guys. We'll be back next week after the weekend's games to break down and have our impressions. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.